What is the most gratifying part of playing Osu? You might say, the anime music. Wrong. You might say, the rhythm complexity. Also wrong. No, the most gratifying part of playing Osu is progressively getting better and seeing your own skill steadily rise because of your hard work. Is what I would say if this was a utopian society. Let's be honest, you just want to see that little number next to your name rise, and you're willing to play any 30-second jump map to make that happen. You might be wondering, but wait, Polars, isn't your top plays full of 30-second farm jump maps? To answer your question, yes, they are, and I'm not ashamed. But for every connoisseur of farm maps, myself included, one problem will inevitably arise. Does your profile graph look like this? Well then, do I have the solution for you. There is this magical term that not many PP farmers are aware of called score farming. It sounds scary, I know, but bear with me. I'm sure 99% of people watching this know what score farming is, but just in case you're a new player or something, score farming is basically just, well, it's in the name. You just play to get more score. Now, I'll admit, I'm no different than the rest of the people playing this game. I want to see that little number next to my name rise too. But at some point, that just stops happening, at least in my case. Recently, and by recently I mean like the past 6 months-ish, I've been intentionally playing maps just to get score or to FC them, even if they're like not worth anything. For the sake of ranking up, this is entirely pointless, but I do think there are some benefits to gain from score farming. So today I just want to talk a little bit about those and why I think score farming is actually beneficial for most people. Now, I've talked on my channel a lot how I think PP farming can be a general hindrance to new players and actually building up the foundation and required skills necessary to get really good at this game. I think a problem with saying don't PP farm is just that it doesn't really give you any sense of direction in where you're going. Like, obviously, you can play maps that aren't PP farm and see your improvement on them, but honestly, for a lot of people, I feel like they need some sort of solid number that they can kind of chase after. It's like how a cheat to making good habits or getting rid of bad habits is to just gamify things so that way it's easier for you to actually do it instead of relying on willpower alone. At least, that's kind of how I view score farming in a sense. So to answer the question, why is score farming a powerful tool that you can use to get better at Osu? So something I've mentioned on my channel before is that just pushing your skill ceiling higher isn't necessarily going to make your foundation stronger. That is in a sense exactly what PP farming is, and so when you're only like pushing after one skill, which is probably jump maps, and you're just like getting higher and higher numbers, at that point you're just pushing your skill ceiling higher, but you're not actually focusing on other skills. I'm sure most people are aware of this, but pretty loosely, PP doesn't really equal how good you are at the game. So by constantly playing to raise that number, you are, in a sense, getting better, but you're not really building all of the foundational skills that you would need. The reason that I think score farming is good is because it allows you to just not worry about pushing your skill ceiling higher and getting higher PP plays, but rather actually focus on getting consistent FCs or high combo scores with good AC. If most of your time is spent playing TV-sized jump maps, then when you play an even lower star consistency map, it's still not going to be very comfortable for you. This is entirely the process that I went through when learning the game, and I really regret only focusing on playing for PP. When you're score farming, it doesn't matter how difficult a map is, the only thing that matters for you is that you can combo it. A mistake that I made when starting out was not playing 2 and 3 star maps as much as I should have, so I ended up like just completely not being able to play low AR for a really long time. If I would have been score farming at the time, I would definitely be playing those kind of maps that are low AR and easier to combo because you get more score from them. Another huge upside to score farming is that playing longer maps actually has a purpose. Sure, long maps do give you a little bit of bonus PP for being longer than short maps do, but generally it's not really worth it and short maps are way easier to gain ranks on. Because of the way Osu's combo system works, having a higher combo is basically like exponential growth, in that if you get a combo that's within the thousands, you're going to get massive amounts of score. If you have a combo within the thousands, it will probably take you only a few clicks to get like the same amount of score that playing an entire TV size map would give you. So if you're seriously playing to raise your ranked score, then playing long maps is definitely the way to go. Something else that I like to do, and I don't know if this is really considered score farming, but I figured I'd include it in this video, is to just try to get rid of as many A ranks on your profile as possible. Now, you shouldn't get too hung up on this because in the end, it doesn't really matter and you're never going to be able to get rid of all of your A ranks. That is, unless you're Digital Hypno. Honestly, the reason I do this is because most of the time it's just me playing maps that I would never play now, but just for the sake of fixing the A rank. You can also just do the opposite and try to get as many S ranks on your profile as possible. These two things kind of go hand in hand. The whole point of this is that you're going to be playing maps that are like way too easy for you, but it allows you to solidify a strong foundation. When you tunnel vision on one skill set or one area of the game in particular, there's just going to inevitably be gaps in your foundation somewhere. Now, aside from the more practical reasons that score farming is beneficial, I think that it's just fun in general. Honestly, this is kind of an arbitrary point, but when you're like me and only set a nice PP play like once or twice a month, then it's kind of nice to have something else to work towards. Especially when every rework takes away 6 months of progress. Now, just because I think score farming brings you benefits doesn't mean I'm saying that you should become a hardcore score farmer and only care about score and live your entire OSU career for the sake of score, but I do think that score farming does have practical uses. I didn't make this video to say PP farming sucks and you should never do it, because I don't really think that, but I just wanted to kind of remind people that score farming does exist and that it might help you. It's kind of given me a little bit more enjoyment in the game because now I have something to kind of work towards. I wouldn't say I'm really a score farmer per se. I don't really score farm all the time, but I do think that it's fun. Anyways, that's kind of all I wanted to talk about. Maybe I dragged this video out too long, maybe it sounded like a rant, but honestly I just kind of wanted to ramble a bit. If you're a hardcore score farmer and you've seen benefits from it, feel free to leave a comment. I would appreciate hearing those. That's all I really have to say. Thanks for listening if you're this far, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next one.